What if I told you one of the most luxurious black wives connected to Atlanta didn't build her image by being loud, but by making fashion, marriage, travel, beauty, and soft power look completely effortless? No messy controversy, no fake rich performance, no trying too hard energy, just elegance, access, confidence, and the kind of lifestyle that makes people stop scrolling without even knowing why. That woman is Marjorie Harvey. And what makes her story work so well is that she never feels like somebody chasing luxury. She feels like somebody who already lives inside it. Publicly, she's known for her marriage to Steve Harvey, her fashion platform The Lady Loves Couture, her handbag line, her consignment business, and a luxury image that has stayed polished for years. And in Atlanta, a city with a long reputation as a black Mecca, that kind of presence means something. Because Atlanta has never just admired money. Atlanta admires style. Atlanta admires confidence. Atlanta admires the kind of success that looks good, feels smooth, and carries cultural weight. So how did Marjorie Harvey become one of the most recognizable symbols of black luxury wife energy tied to Atlanta? Point 1. Before anything else, she understood how luxury is supposed to look. Some people get access to money first, and then spend years trying to learn taste. Marjorie Harvey gives the opposite impression. She comes across like somebody who understood presentation early, how to dress, how to carry herself, how to make elegance look natural instead of forced. And that matters. Because in luxury culture, style is never just style. It's communication. It tells people whether you belong in exclusive spaces, whether you understand restraint, whether you know how to look expensive without making noise about it. That became one of her earliest advantages. She didn't just wear beautiful things. She wore them in a way that made them feel lived in. That's a big difference. A lot of people can buy designer. Not everybody can make designer look like second skin. That's why her image landed so hard. Long before people started treating her like one of the most glamorous women in black celebrity culture, she had already built that visual language around herself. She wasn't only putting on clothes, she was building an atmosphere. And once a woman gets that part right, people notice before she even speaks. But style by itself does not create this much fascination. What made Marjorie different is what she built around that image next. Point 2. She didn't disappear into the role of wife, she elevated it. This is where her story becomes more interesting. Because a lot of celebrity wives stay in the background of the brand. Marjorie Harvey never really did that. Yes, her marriage to Steve Harvey is a huge part of her public identity. But instead of fading into that spotlight, she sharpened it. She made the role feel elevated. That's what changed everything. She took a word that people often underestimate, wife, and made it feel glamorous, powerful, polished, and aspirational. She turned it into something people watched closely, something people associated with beauty, elegance, travel, stability, and status. That doesn't happen by accident. That takes instinct. That takes control over image. And that's the memorable part here. She did not become fascinating simply because she married a famous man. She became fascinating because she knew how to build a whole lifestyle identity around that visibility. That's where things shifted. She stopped being viewed as just part of Steve Harvey's world. She started looking like a woman with a world of her own. And once that happens, people stop watching only the marriage. They start watching the atmosphere around it. Point 3. She made luxury feel soft instead of loud. This is one of the biggest reasons her image works. A lot of wealthy public figures lean into excess. Marjorie leans into control. Her version of luxury doesn't usually feel chaotic or overdone. It feels soft, polished, feminine, and very intentional. That's why her style moments keep standing out. Whether it's couture, travel looks, event appearances, or beauty shots, the message is usually the same: calm, expensive, and fully settled. That creates a different kind of status. Not loud money status, not trend-chasing status. Soft power status. The kind that says, I do not need to prove I belong here. And that energy is powerful. Because true luxury is not always about wearing the most outrageous thing in the room. Sometimes the bigger flex is being the calmest person in the room while still looking like the most expensive one there. That's what Marjorie Harvey's image does. She does not come across like somebody using luxury to make a statement. She comes across like somebody for whom luxury is already normal. And when wealth starts looking normal around a person, people pay even more attention. Because now the question is no longer, can she afford this? The question becomes, How deep does this world around her really go? That is where admiration starts turning into intrigue, and intrigue is what opens the door to business. Point 4. She didn't just wear luxury, she found ways to build around it. This is where the story gets smarter, because admiration is good, but turning admiration into something tangible is better. Marjorie Harvey did not leave all that style attention floating in the air. She built around it through the Lady Loves Couture, her online luxury consignment business, and her handbag line. That matters because it shows intention. It means she understood something a lot of public figures miss. Once people trust your taste, they are often willing to buy into the world behind it. That is a real advantage. A lot of people get compliments on style. Very few turn that into an actual lane. She did, and that's the memorable part here. She didn't let her image stay decorative. She gave it structure, a store, products, a direct point of connection between her public image and the people drawn to it. That's when fashion stops being surface, it becomes a business tool. And once image becomes a business tool, luxury starts looking a lot less random. It starts looking strategic. But fashion business alone is still not enough to create this kind of aura, because the lives people find most fascinating are not built only on products, they're built on access. Point 5. She made elite access look comfortable. This is one of the strongest things about Marjorie Harvey's image. She moves through luxury spaces in a way that feels familiar. Designer events, international trips, fashion week energy, high-end getaways, polished social settings, the kind of lifestyle people associate with serious money and serious invitation. But what makes it land is the way she carries it. It doesn't look like she's visiting a luxury world for the first time. It looks like she already knows the rules. That changes everything, because when exclusive spaces start looking ordinary around a person, that person starts to feel truly elite. Not because they are showing off, but because they look comfortable, settled, fluent, and fluency always feels richer than display. That's the detail that makes her image so effective. Anybody can post a beautiful vacation, anybody can take one designer photo, but when a person moves through those spaces like they already belong there, the image hits differently. That's what Marjorie Harvey has built. She doesn't just show luxury, she makes it look normal. And once a woman can do that, her image starts carrying more than beauty. It starts carrying status. But the strongest luxury stories do not stop at access. They get heavier when legacy enters the picture. Point 6. Her image became stronger when it connected to legacy and purpose. Luxury can catch attention, but legacy gives luxury weight. That's why this part matters. Marjorie Harvey's public image is not built only on fashion, travel, and polished appearances. It also connects to the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, which adds a more purposeful layer to the story. And that changes the emotional feel of her image. Because now this is not only about beauty and lifestyle. Now there is structure behind it. There is family. There is public purpose. There is something that feels larger than appearances. And that matters because people may envy luxury, but they respect direction. They respect a life that looks like it's building something, not just consuming something. That's what this chapter adds. It gives Marjorie Harvey's image more depth, more seriousness. It keeps the lifestyle from feeling empty. It turns elegance into something fuller. And that's the memorable part here. She is not presented only as fashionable. She is also tied to philanthropy, family legacy, and a marriage that many people read as stable, aspirational, and built over time. That combination is powerful. Because once beauty, business, family, and purpose start working together, a woman's image stops feeling one-dimensional. It starts feeling complete. And that leads to the final level, presence. Point 7. Her real flex is that every part of her image strengthens the others. This is the highest level of the story, and honestly, it's the reason this whole title works emotionally. A lot of wealthy women have money without identity. Others have style without substance. Others have visibility without permanence. Marjorie Harvey built something more rounded than that. Her fashion gave her visual authority. Her marriage gave her public scale. Her business moves gave her strategy. Her luxury lifestyle gave her polish. Her philanthropic image gave her depth. And Atlanta gave the whole story a cultural backdrop that makes it hit even harder. When all of those pieces come together, the result is bigger than celebrity wife energy. It becomes a kind of soft empire. That's what makes her so compelling, not that she is loud, not that she is controversial, not that she is constantly demanding attention. It's the opposite. She feels composed, curated. intentional. Everything about the image points in the same direction: the fashion, the beauty, the travel, the marriage, the calmness, the elegance. It all says the same thing: she belongs in luxury. And in a city like Atlanta, that carries real symbolic weight, because Atlanta has always loved a certain kind of Black success: stylish, visible, ambitious, culturally sharp, and unapologetically elevated. Marjorie Harvey fits that energy almost perfectly. That's why her image lands so well. Not just because it looks expensive, but because it feels finished. Conclusion. So when people think about the most luxurious Black wife energy connected to Atlanta, Marjorie Harvey's name rises quickly for a reason. She didn't build her image on noise. She built it in layers. First came style, then visibility, then identity, then business, then access, then legacy, then something even more powerful than attention: presence that feels effortless. That is what makes her story work, because this is not just about a glamorous marriage. It's about turning fashion into authority, visibility into influence, influence into structure, and structure into a luxury image that feels almost impossible to ignore. She didn't just become admired, she became symbolic. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more stories on Black wealth, luxury wives, quiet power, Atlanta status, and the icons who turn soft life into real influence. Because sometimes the biggest flex isn't the bag, the trip, or the outfit. It's the way the whole room shifts when she walks in.